Oh, hello. Hey, this is Bryce, and thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel, Jack of Trades. Today, it's Christmas in July. We just received our Losi Promoto-MX RC motorcycle. This, I think, has the potential to be one of the coolest things that comes out in 2023 for RC. So as soon as I heard about this, I pre-ordered it from Tower Hobbies. That was on June 22nd, so today's July 1st, and it showed up today. That's one of the things I love about Losi is when you do a pre-order, they're basically ready to start shipping product. Whereas with Tamiya, you can pre-order stuff, and I've waited over a year for stuff to start to ship. So with Losi, they're much more predictable on when they're going to ship their new products. So this is the quarter scale motocross pro circuit RC motorcycle. It's big, it's awesome. There's a lot of technology in this that makes it look like it should be really fun to drive. I've done RC motorcycles in the past. I've had a Thunder Tiger Nitro Ducati. I've had the Italian Nova Nitro motorcycles. I've done the Kyosho Hang-On Riders. RC motorcycles are actually quite difficult to drive. They have kind of a large turning radius. You don't want to get too much throttle on them because they can get real squirrely real fast. I'm hoping that with all the technology we see in this motorcycle RC, that it should be a much more approachable platform than what we've seen in the past. So Losi's done a really good job, I think, of releasing this product. They announced it, they had videos. If you go to Losi's YouTube channel, they've got over 14 videos just on the motorcycle. They kind of do an overview of the bike, they go into the background of the bike and the design and the technology. They've got a huge list of videos for their upgrades. That kind of goes back to the original days of Losi. When they would release a new car, they would have spare parts and hop-ups in the shops ready for the people buying the cars, and so they were there backing their product. The day after you could pre-order this, Tower Hobbies had a list of all of the spare parts and hop-ups, and there's a huge list of, I mean, almost everything is upgradable, and then they have spare parts. You can get different livery for the bike, you can get different clothes for the rider, you can get riders, you get different wheels, different tires. So there's a whole laundry list of upgrades and hop-ups for this bike already that you can pre-order with your bike. So with this bike, there's three versions. There's a red, a blue, and a green. The red and the blue are basically an RTR with a radio. And then the green is an RTR with a radio, a battery, and a charger. And the battery that comes with is a 5,000 milliamp hour 2S battery. I already had one of those batteries. It's one of their smart batteries, I believe. So I already had one, so I wasn't going to go ahead and buy another battery. So I went with the blue version, and then I also ordered a bunch of spare parts and hop-ups for it because I'm going to immediately change it out. They got aluminum swing arm, they got aluminum triple clamps, aluminum suspension links, titanium pins, titanium axles, aluminum wheel hubs, carbon fiber chassis plates. I mean, anything you can think of that you would want to hop up, they've already got it. And it's kind of nice to have those parts available right off the bat versus waiting for the third party market to kind of get up to speed. There's already a ton of videos on YouTube about this bike. A lot of content creators got the bike early so they could kind of do their own videos. I'm not fortunate enough to be in that group, so I bought this and I just received it. I'm going to do an unboxing and I'm going to take it out for its first ride and see how it does. It's been a while since I've driven an RC motorcycle, but hopefully I can kind of pull from that experiences from probably 15 years ago, and we'll see how it goes. Anywho, so I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera around and we'll do an unboxing. Thanks for tuning in. Alright, I got the camera set up. I had to zoom out quite a bit. The box is huge on the bench and it takes up a lot of space, but I think we're good to go. So let's get got a little view of the electronics, the drivetrain. So it has two brushless motors. There's one brushless motor for the flywheel, then one brushless motor for power to the rear wheel. We got a steering servo. We have this new receiver with built-in electronics. It has a 6-axis gyro. We got something over here, which I don't know what that. It almost looks like a servo. But look at the back of the box. So we got lean bars versus kind of crash bars. So it allows the bike to lean over more, and then you've got kind of these little wheels that allow it to kind of roll as it digs in versus catching and dragging on those bars. This is the battery access over the rear fender. So you have this kind of crash pack system on the front fork. There's aluminum space frame assembly in here. And they make a carbon fiber version of that. So you have a rising rate rear suspension where the suspension starts off soft and it progressively gets stiffer the more you compress it. And that helps preventing the suspension from bottoming out. It's driven with a real chain, which is kind of cool. Aluminum main sprocket and I believe it's a steel drive sprocket. Enough of the box. Let's get it open. I want to see how big this is because it looks big in all the videos and pictures. And the box is huge. I can't stress enough how big this box is. So one of the cool things with the pre-order is you get a 50% off coupon for some Proline Supermoto wheels. It expires at the end of the year, one time use only. So that'll be cool. All right, the big reveal. Wow, I haven't even pulled it out. It looks awesome. So it's a new radio system. We've got extra controls. There's 3 different ride attitudes. Depending on what you're doing, if you're running off-road, if you're trying to do fast acceleration, or you're trying to, because you can basically pull wheelies, you can try to avoid wheelies to get better acceleration. So there's 3 different settings for that. Flywheel on off, throttle limit, steering trim, front brake travel. You got the bike in a bag with the stand for it. Let's get everything out of the box and we'll go over it in more detail. I can't help myself, it's so cool. I mean, the driver has this kind of stretchy fabric, it's almost like spandex or whatever, outfit on. It's funny when they drive, you kind of see the head bobbing, and it looks a little goofy. But this thing is, this thing's badass. Yeah, this is pretty cool. So when I first saw this, the first thing that came to mind was Radio Shack released a Ricky Carmichael RC motorcycle, and it had a flywheel built into it. This is probably in the 90s, if not 80s. I've only seen one in person, and it drives pretty good. I mean, with motorcycles, you want to have some kind of flywheel. That helps a lot with stability and keeping the bike upright. And so the Ricky Carmichael Radio Shack motorcycle had that, and it was also a quarter scale, so it's kind of on the same. It is on the same scale as this. And what I'd like to do is get my hands on one and kind of compare it to this. It'd be interesting to see the differences between the two. Oh, that's what that, sorry, it just dawned on me. That third servo, that small servo, is for the front brake. So we got a front brake servo. This is cool. So we got, it looks like steel rotors with a mechanical disc brake caliper. And on the rear, there is no actual brake. So that's clever. If you're doing wheelies and you kind of go back too far, this has a breakaway on it so that it doesn't break. It's spring loaded. That's really clever. There's actually a little skid plate underneath it. Got pseudo exhaust. So the battery actually goes up in here, kind of on the tail end. Get the stand set up. I can't wait to get this outside and running. Oh, that's kind of clever. This is just initial impressions. This is really well thought out. You have outriggers so you can stake it to the ground, and they give you stakes to stake that stand to the ground. That's kind of next level, right? They've really thought this out, and just the way that it's been rolled out. I mean, this is really incredible. I like this. I didn't know it came with a motorcycle stand. That's really cool. Let's see here. Let's see what we got. Batteries for the radio. Quick start guide. Okay. I guess if we have to read instructions, this would be the one to read. Looks like they're saying to run it for only 30 minutes at a time. So I wonder if that flywheel gets warm. That's kind of interesting. Alright, here we go. So here's the 3 settings. So we got kind of off-road terrain, flat, and then doing wheelies. So this is cool. This is what has really excited me about this bike is the hop-ups. So you've got a whole bunch of different color schemes you can get into. You've got a bunch of alloy parts in different colors, sprockets, rotors, the rear swing arm with suspension links, carbon fiber chassis plates. They make they make aluminum foot pegs for the bike for the rider, which is kind of totally cosmetic. Titanium pivots as well as titanium axles. There's a rider with different jerseys, different tires. So they've got everything thought out for this bike. It'll be interesting to see what else you can do to the bike after all these upgrades have been exhausted. That's a pretty hefty instruction manual. There's a bottle of chain lube that comes with the bike. So they use inserts to set the chain tension. As you use the bike, the chain is going to stretch. You will need to pay attention to your chain tension. So here's some spare parts that we get. We got a foam block for the battery box, just to kind of set. If you're using a smaller battery, you can take up the extra volume with this foam block. Looks like we got a spring for the steering servo saver. We got some spacers here. I don't know what those are for. These guys here are to set the inclination of the lean bars. So if you look at the bike here, these are bump stops. So this is spring loaded, and you can adjust how far down they go with the set screw here, and then you can adjust the bump stop, how far up they go, by replacing this plastic bump stop with these guys here. So that'll determine how far you can lean the bike, as well as the gyroscope system. And these are the inserts for the rear swing arm for tensioning the chain. Ooh, we got stickers. Do we need stickers? I guess if you wanted blank stickers, you could put your own kind of decals on. You could go with this scheme versus the decals that have all these sponsors on it already. Then we got a sheet of numbers, stickers. So let's look at the tools. There are some unique tools here. We have a pair of box wrenches, 6mm, 9mm. We have something that looks almost like a shock tool for putting on the shock cap. And then kind of another specialized tool with the hex on one end and kind of a slot tool on the other end. And then the stakes for the starting stand. I want to get the bike out, I want to run it, I want to take full advantage of its capabilities, and then I want to just start throwing bling on it. This looks like a fun RC to kind of bling out, and so that's what I'm going to do. Actually, I want to get this out now. Let's just go run in the street. Why not? Let's do it. Here's something cool. You can actually right itself if it falls. Alright, so check it out. If you're on the ground, you can get it up. There you go. See? That's cool. That is crazy. Alright, so we just got back from running this out on the street just to do a little test run, and first impressions are that it's pretty freaking awesome. It's so I was pretty dumb. When I first started, I forgot to turn the gyro on, and I was a little worried because it was really hard to drive, almost impossible, and kind of brought up a lot of bad memories from my previous experiences with RC motorcycles. I was like, it's like something was off, and yeah, well, what was off was the gyro. So once I got the gyro on, it's actually really cool. It's super stable. You go fast, slow. It's got a lot of kick on the throttle. The gyro doesn't quite pick up on it because you can punch it, and actually you can do a backflip while rolling, like a rolling backflip, and he's basically bouncing off his head. So as far as wear and tear, if I keep running on the asphalt, this thing is gonna keep shredding itself to pieces. So I got some scrapes on the fender and the fork guard, lots of backflips, so lots of this stuff here, lots of leans and drags. So his clothes are getting pretty beat up, and those are probably gonna be the first to go if I keep running on asphalt. It seems odd to have to buy clothes for your RC car, right? This skid plate, I see that getting a lot of wear as well. So I need to look at getting a replacement for that. I wonder if you could 3D print. If this is a consumable, then maybe 3D printing it just as something to wear. I like to do speed runs because I don't have a dirt track around, but a stretched swing arm might be kind of cool, right? Like make this into a drag, put some street tires on it, and make it into a drag bike. So these wheels, I think you'll want to get spare wheels if you're running on asphalt. I'm going to take this to the dirt tomorrow just to see how it does on the dirt. I took it in some gravel and it seemed to handle well. It sucked up all the bumps, but there's definitely going to be some wear parts on it. But first impressions, it's a pretty killer RC. It's a different experience too. There's a learning curve to it. So far it seems like it's pretty forgiving as far as rough terrain goes. So I am excited to try it out over at the park. I'm looking forward to getting some more runtime on it. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Take care. Bye.